All right, Sam. So let's talk a little bit about France. So I thought I'd read this Richard Wolff tweet and then maybe you can unpack the election for us and what is going on there exactly. So Richard Wolff tweeted, lessons from June 19 French election. When voters get to choose among political center, left and right, center gets 38.6%, left gets 31.6%, and the right gets 17.3%. See what a unified left can do, how weak the right really is, and how far middle has fallen from its once dominant position. So Sam, just give a little background, whatever is needed, and then tell us a little bit about France.
There was French parliamentary elections. There was French presidential elections. Sorry, what the fuck is happening? There was French presidential elections a while ago, which Macron won. Now there are French parliamentary elections, which is the French system of the French governmental system is, in my view, the most confusing, although Germany is, up there. But, French have both prime ministerial system, but prime minister is largely president's lackey, to be honest. President, but he's the one who sort of puts the cabinet together and all that in the, in the parliament. So they had the parliamentary elections, and I'm not even sure if, because it's sort of they use a weird system of, it's not just first past the post. It is first past the post mostly, but I think it's got a bit of proportional representation as well. But it's not that Macron was, as you can say, necessarily defeated. His party still has the majority seats in the parliament, but they lost the absolute majority, and they got far less votes than previously, it was thought, so, far worse than like they were projected, I think, to get to 170 or something. They got 249, if I'm not mistaken.
So they're projected to hold on to the absolute majority.
No, to not absolute, to a plural. They hold on to the plurality, but
which would have been enough for them.
No, it's enough for them to form a minority government, but they can't get everything passed. So pretty much either they have to go in a coalition with somebody else to reach the, I think 280, I think it's 280 or 289 in France. So they have to reach above that through a coalition, a stable coalition, or they have to do deals on each bill. Basically, they have to make deals one time with the Greens, one time with the right wing, one time with the left wing, right? So that was the, that was the. This is Ensemble, by the way. The Ensemble, I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't know. The coalition that Macron leads. Then you had NUPS, which was a coalition between communists, Greens basically, and Mélenchon, sort of socialists, sort of radical socialists. And that coalition, which is what Richard Wolff is referring to, that one got 131 seats, which was slightly above what was projected, which was 110 to 120. And by the way, the vote, the proportion of the vote is much closer. So the proportion of the vote, there is 100 seats difference, but Ensemble got 38.6%. NUPS got 31.7%. So, as you can see, it's not a great night for, what's his name?
And the right got much less. Although, I mean, of course, many will point out that, the center nowadays, you can consider as right because, they're neoliberal and all that. But, that's what the center is, because I've seen someone tweet that in response to Richard Wolff. But I mean, center now is it's not a good thing.
And it's quite interesting because Mélenchon is quite radical apparently in his rhetoric, but he says he's a Mitterrand left. Mitterrand was the leader of socialists in 90s, the socialists that are non-existent pretty much now. But I've got two articles that kind of, I want to, before I reveal my surprise, there is this thing, by the way, the coverage has been pretty much focused awful in my view. It's focused on the right wing and Macron and all that. But this is from Guardian: 5 takeaways from the French elections and what could happen next. And the first one is a triumph for the far right. So Marine Le Pen national rally routinely scores 20% or more in national elections, had just 8 of the 577 MPs in the last parliament. In the new assembly, it will have 89. So that is quite a jump from 8 to 89.
Yeah.
An 11-fold increase. So that's a good point. You have to admit that. A dire night for Macron. I think that's another fair point.
And are they replacing by any chance like other right wingers who were there, like other forms of Republicans or something like that? Or do you happen to know that, or
What you? Oh no, like the traditional Republicans.
Yeah, or like
the traditional Republicans, Sarkozy, that type of people, they didn't lose apparently vote share, but they didn't gain anything either. But there was a pretty low turnout. This was one of the lowest turnouts in elections. So that
Marine Le Pen Marine Le Pen and the far right, they got these voters from they got these seats from where? So I guess they took some from the centrists. Really, if for their 11-fold increase.
Yeah.
No, I'm just guessing, right? Yeah.
I'm guessing. My guess would be because Ensemble has lost most seats. I would guess that they got them from Ensemble mostly. But I would imagine they clear threshold. I really don't know enough details to comment on that, but I would imagine it's from Ensemble. But there was another article which came right the day after, because the biggest story of the night originally was the big win for the left. And Mélenchon had talked about the fact that he wants to become prime minister if he manages to, because there was even projections they might come as high as 180 if, everything works out. But listen to this. This came this morning. France, The Guardian. Parties reject Mélenchon's call to form opposition bloc. Hard left leader and heads of other parties invited to talks with Macron over a stalemate, says presidential source. So Macron sources are saying they are invited for talks. An alliance of France left-wing and Green parties led by the hard left Jean-Luc Mélenchon has rejected calls to form a single parliamentary bloc less than 24 hours after it won the second largest number of seats in legislative election. The split came as the French President Emmanuel Macron held talks with members of his center-right party over how to form government after it unexpectedly, I don't know why unexpectedly, lost its absolute majority in Sunday's second round vote. It emerged on Monday evening that Macron has invited opposition party leaders, including Mélenchon and Marine Le Pen, for talks at Élysée Palace. And then it goes on to say there is quotes by the leader of the La Nouvelle Union Populaire Écologie et Sociale and by the communists, and they both say, because Mélenchon basically went to the press and said that the left should unite to form an opposition party, and they both say that no, there won't be that type of thing, which is disappointing because Richard Wolff was just talking about what happens when left unites. And the problem with the left is it cannot unite for more than, it seems, 3 seconds behind somebody who's actual lefty, unless it's fucking Tony Blair or Obama. It's very difficult. So
fair enough. And also in the context of the US, it's not like there are all these divided left. Now we can see it, but it's not like there are these divisions in people and what people think and believe, but there are no real political representations for them, right? It's not like there's a strong socialist party and a strong communist one, another one, you're all come together. No, they're the Democrats, and then there's everybody who sees themselves far left to that, but they're not necessarily organized into political groups at the national level, right? Sure, in New York there's DSA and I don't know, there's the socialist candidate in Seattle. But besides that, so it doesn't apply too much to the States, as there aren't groups, as far as I know, really, to come together. There are people, but
the infrastructure and organization, and it's in US, it's far. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what,
But
So,
yeah, we can see.
I don't know what left. You're right. What left can come together and unite in America, I guess. Yes, Seattle. Exactly. I don't know. You're right.
Seattle council member meets DSA.
Failed candidate Tina Turner.
Yeah, true.
4-time defeated. Like, I don't know exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
And what was your surprise that you've been withholding, or?
Oh, this was the surprise.
That was surprising.
Yeah, that was, come on. That was the Mélenchon, like the day, like the left, man. The left, they get into power in Germany. Fucking World War III breaks out on their borders. The economy goes down the toilet. They get a slightly better position in France. Suddenly, everybody's backstabbing everybody.
Yeah.
Jesus. Anyway, Lula is working with some like neoliberal now. It's just great. Everything is great.
Fair enough.